Debbie,
Go ahead.
for the thing. How much?
19 million.
How much
All right.
did I go?
We have county government meeting to order. Sorry, Brenda. Too late. Call meeting to order. First up is MIA.
Everybody? Pretty simple. Just trying to authorize getting one of our computer services specialists to hire on. We had a promotion in our office.
So this is a backfill.
Yes.
Move it.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There we go.
Is
That's it. All right, guys. Thank you
You
so
want-
much.
that a record?
I think.
Yeah.
Wait to measure. Yes.
Prepared for a little bit longer than that. With pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are pretty amazing.
So it's been brought to my attention that some of you don't know exactly what goes into testing a gasoline pump. So I thought this month's presentation would revolve around that. The total number of retail fuel establishments in the county is 62. The number of retail and fleet dispensers in the county is 744.
Oh.
And the number of gallons that I pump and return into the holding tanks is 11,160 gallons. Matt, that's 11,100.
You return them all, right?
Yeah. So we typically test 87, 89, 91, 93, and 94 octane, as well as E85 flex fuel, and on-road diesel, kerosene, and DEF. Dispensers are determined to be in compliance. First, next picture, please.
We'll have to get him a laser pointer.
Yeah. So they're determined to be in compliance if the test results for a 5-gallon test measure fall within plus or minus 6 cubic inches. So this one is almost perfect. And that's the Gulf station at the corner of 98 and 66. So 1 cubic inch of liquid equals 0.55 of an ounce. 6 cubic inches equates to 3.3 ounce, which is this amount. Or as you may know it, half of a pour in one of your Manhattans.
You know,
It's your day, Matt.
The whole world knows about it.
Can you bring these Manhattans at some point? Because that's a healthy pour if that's only half.
So, after we test to make sure that the pumps are in compliance, we also check the signage, the toppers, the sign that displays for the road, they all need to match what's on the pump. And then we open up the dispenser and check that the seals are in place. That thing in the bottom center that has a C on it is one of these.
Here?
So,
Where are we?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we have a little seal thing here that we crimp the lead with. And it puts a C on it. So when we open the pump, we can tell that we're the last ones who were in there. And it hasn't been tampered with since. I haven't come across any that have been cut yet, but they're out there.
And how, it doesn't have to be dated or anything, as long as it's got the
No,
seal.
as long as it's
fine.
intact.
Yeah.
And it has a C, we know we're good. Sometimes they're up on the top area of the pump. Other times they're underneath, which would be the next photo. And I need to become a contortionist to get in there to crimp those things. The only time that I reseal them, it was on my report, there were 19 meters in the past month that I resealed. It's typically after a calibration company comes in. Stewart's is good at this. They'll recognize that they're giving away too much gasoline, and they'll have an outside company come in, recalibrate the pumps. The calibration company puts a new seal on it, then contacts me. And I go back and retest the pump, reseal it, and then issue the bill to the establishment for $20 per dispenser that I seal.
So if somebody hacked into a pump and you know, because the seal's broken, is that, no?
No,
Okay,
no, that will be the next
Okay.
picture.
all right, sorry.
So we also, while the pump is open, check for evidence of any skimming devices. I haven't come across one in this county, but one was recently found in Rockland County. And they're very difficult to identify anymore because it used to be a box that you know what to look for. Now it's basically a cable that they intertwine with the existing cables. That would be the next photo. And unless you know what you're looking for, you're going to miss it. So as technology evolves, the bad guys are also evolving and figuring out how to do it. So it's more difficult to see. And the final photo is Moonlight Sitco, which is off the Parkway in Chatham. And that's where you get the best bang for your buck. That one is +5. So just if you're in the market.
Yeah, that's the dribble, right? You know? How far off can they be that you allow?
±6.
6.
And
Okay.
they're at
Either
five.
way.
This one's.
I
at
know
five.
this is
Yeah,
5.
see
I
it,
see
yeah.
that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying
So,
it can be low 6 too, right?
yeah,
theoretically.
but I'll typically write up someone, I won't find them if it's like -2, but I'll ask them to have the pumps recalibrated. I only run across a handful that are negatives in a typical season. Most of them are on the plus side. So
As a cost of business, how frequently do they normally calibrate their pumps? Is there any,
some do it twice a year.
okay,
A lot of them don't do it at all until there's a complaint.
So what about like this one? Do you tell them that it's 5? Like
Yeah,
you give them the reading and,
I'll let them know, that, you know, you're giving away gasoline and it is probably to your advantage to have the pumps recalibrated. Some will, but there's always a cost involved with that. So some figure it's less expensive to.
So that much right there is that probably?
That's probably about 3 even, and this is more to the 3.3. So it's not a big variance when you think about it in a 5-gallon container.
but it's cumulative.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
yeah.
right? And so like I always have this question, when you put the pump in the thing and you hit the handle
Mhm.
and it's like at 16 and all of a sudden you hear the gas come out, are they ripping you off? Like,
We check for that also. That's considered creep, where the,
A delay.
yeah, like 16 cents, 25 cents, like, and all of a sudden then
you'll
the
see the
fluid
stream
starts.
going, yet there's nothing
Right.
coming out.
Right,
And there's also a lag at the end too. If you shut off and the
The pump
pump
keeps
keeps running,
mhm.
that's a nice way for them to clip you for a few extra fractions of a gallon of gasoline.
Yeah.
But that's also illegal, so we check for that. Any other questions?
This is a great explanation. Thank you.
Mhm.
You don't check for price though, do you?
We don't control price, but we verify that what it says on the sign is what it's actually reading. I had a complaint about a month ago. There was a station on Fairview Avenue that, the fellow called me and he said, "Hey, I just went there. I hit 87. It showed how much per gallon. I started pumping and it was charging me for premium." He said, "I went in, I complained to the proprietor and he argued, but he ended up giving me a refund for what it should have been." I went the next day and looked. There are several pumps in the county. The way they're set up, if you take the nozzle off the dispenser and you're not careful, the hose will actually hit the 93 button as you're reaching to go to your car. So even though you press 87, you can override it unknowingly by the hose hitting 93, and that's
And
what
it's the higher one,
happened.
not the lower one.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So in this case, the proprietor was kind enough to honor the complaint and give the guy a refund. But that's what actually occurred when I went to check.
Jim, is there any stipulation for price gouging? In other words, do you look at anything where a pump is so much this and this other gas station could be a dollar something more? Is there a range that you're allowed, or there's nothing in the
That's
rules?
not something that we enforce.
Okay.
They're basically a buyer beware situation. Yeah, I don't have the authority to set prices.
It also seems to be geographic because gas is usually 15 to 20%, 15 to 20 cents higher in Hudson than it is in Canyon.
Or in Kinderhook.
In Canaan?
Yeah, in Kinderhook too.
Yeah,
You're saying it's higher in Canaan?
no,
Cause Hudson's like the cheapest that I
no,
see.
I never
around.
buy gas in Hudson. I always buy it in Canyon.
Don't get it in the village again.
The reason I'm asking, there's a pump in 122 in Copic before you go out of the county.
Yes.
That one was over $1 something. It was amazing. How
Yeah.
I go, my God, how can this be? But he said it's the only guy there.
Right.
Yeah, that's why.
You know what?
Right.
You get it if you need it.
7th Street Park is
Yes, you can.
$3.75
That's right.
today.
Well,
What is it in Canaan?
and I don't know.
It seems Lucky's,
Kinderhook's always more.
Yeah. Lucky's.
the one at A&W is usually,
Maybe it's because we're on the Mass border and gas, there are fewer taxes in Massachusetts, so we, in order to be competitive, they take the gas prices.
anything else?
Nope.
Good
Very
job,
hard.
Jimmy.
Appreciate it.
We like
Something.
to we learned something.
We're learning.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is.
Hello, is everybody?
How you doing?
All right, so the only thing I've got is talking about the lease. We did send it to the attorney's office and got a call back. Because the monthly amounts, on the resolution, the monthly amounts in the lease exceeds what's in the resolution. So Joanne emailed Marianne, who is the landlord's daughter and the one that wrote up the lease. And on the resolution is $7,300. Apparently that is a security deposit from before I started. So we are still working with Marianne to redo the lease, the amounts.
Do we know what
To
it's
match.
supposed to be?
No,
Oh.
we've already waited over 2 years for a lease.
It was spelled out in the lease contract, so, you know.
Yeah.
And that was provided to the county attorney. Our questions really came up more than I did check with Ray just today. It's on his desk right now because he and Brian met with Patsy out there about the maintenance.
Yep.
And the lease says that, you know, we're providing some of the maintenance for some of the cases they have to because the HVAC systems cover multiple areas. So some of that has to be better defined in the lease, and that's what we're working on right now, so. It's in play, but.
Yeah. So that's where. it's
Right.
at.
Meanwhile, you have a place to be, so.
Which is good.
You know.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Any- No, that was it.
Any questions?
Any other questions?
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
I unfortunately will also be a long one. Since unfortunately I was not able to, due to some issues with Hudson State school tax bills, was not able to complete this prior to the packets being made up for today's meeting. So I did bring printouts for everybody because I was afraid it might be too difficult to see on the screen. So I'll pass these around.
It's really tiny, tiny print.
I guess so, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
We need 11 by 17.
One more on this side. Thank you.
And then we could do the same over here, that would be great.
Can we do one?
I have it on the screen. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next one,
I do. Actually, drop mine. Okay.
oh, I like the quality of this paper.
24 pounds.
Mm.
That's better for presentations like this. Okay, so allow me to walk you guys through what we have here. So as discussed, we had looked at potentially increasing the income limits for the senior and low income disabled exemptions throughout the county. So what I did was I analyzed the impact it would have on county rates as well as individual town tax rates. In order to do so, I ran based on the income numbers that your assessors inputted into the RPS. I updated on a test file the income limits and ran new totals for the exemptions on two income levels, and that's what you see here. Is one would be a maximum of up to 40,000 to receive 50%. The other one would be a maximum of up to 45 to receive 50%. And that is the difference between the front and the back of this big piece of paper that you have. One side covers the 40,000, the other side covers the 50,000, the 45,000. And then that shows, this piece of paper shows what the sliding scale would be, assuming that level. So just so everybody's aware, the county's currently at 34.4 is the maximum you can make to receive the 50%. In order to do this, I re-engineered the tax rates using the new assessed values, because assessed values change from 25 to 26, and we don't have new budgets. So I re-engineered the tax rates using last year's budgets that were done for the 2026 town and county taxes, using the 26 assessed values. I determined what the changes in the rates would be based on that, and I compared it as to what it would equate to per $100,000 of taxable value. You will see that based on the analysis, the impact is pretty small when looking at it at that. Like, for example, taking Ankrum, looking at theirs, the projected increase to other taxpayers in the rate would be 9 cents per 100,000. And for the town, that's for the county rate, and for the town rate, it would be 3 cents per 100,000. Now, there is some ambiguity in here, because we do not know exactly how many more residents will become eligible with the increased exemptions for the lower exemption percentages. I tried to do my best to estimate that, because Greenport and Taconic already are offering that higher level. They started doing that in 2024. So I determined that in Greenport and Taconic, when they went to 45, 5.75% more people became eligible. And when they went to 40, about 3% more people became eligible. So this is what that last column is applying those percentages to the projected increases in taxable value, and trying to equate for some of those new applicants that will become eligible. Granted, it's not a perfect science, and obviously this is based on last year's budgets. We don't know what this year's budgets are going to be, so this is purely an illustration to help you understand. This small piece of paper here is an analysis of the difference between 40 and 45, to illustrate what that looks like. And as you can see, some of these numbers look large, like for example, Auslitz is a $263,000 difference in county taxable value, but that equates to less than 0.5% in a ratio. Actually, 0.05.
So less than 1 year tax rate.
It's really not that much.
It's not, no, it would not have a significant impact. It's definitely something that I feel is, and I think most of us here feel that it's time to take a look at increasing them again. The idea was, what level do we go to? At currently, next, in 2027, so for the 2028 roll, the state is increasing the maximum to 75,000. But that's keeping the local option, so who knows if that's actually going to stick, or if there's going to be an amendment to that before we actually get to that point. But I think for the seniors, and I've talked to the assessors, I think all the assessors are kind of on the same page that it's time to make some sort of increase. But I think that there's not currently a widespread interest to go up to the maximum, which would be 50,000 at 50%. Yeah. So that's why.
I just want to point out. You're bumping it up.
Right.
Want correct. Another.
All right, I'd like to bring the Public Works meeting to order. We want to get back out in the smog tonight, so enjoy it, so. Let's see, Kelly says up first, we have Highway Department. Tony was right on the ball this time.
Always on the.
He wasn't plowing snow or anything, so he had time to do his homework.
Yeah, storm damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got storm damage. Yeah, but I gave it to,
Kelly, I'd like to watch this one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, we're having technical difficulties.
To check that out tonight. I don't think I've seen that.
Good thing I brought
Everything's working
snacks.
fine.
You guys got movies down here?
We're having movies today.
We don't even have air conditioning. You guys got movies. I don't, I got this today, so it's not on the agenda, and it's just a quick note, our latest auction, brought in $16,120, most of which was, Wendy's stuff from Solid.
All right. Did you return the money to solid waste too? Or did they
I don't
put
know.
it someplace else in the
We don't
budget?
know where it goes.
Yeah,
We just do all the work.
I was just
and
gonna
the money
ask, what
goes
did we
somewhere.
budget for that stuff? I don't know.
Those old dumpsters really brought in a lot of.
On behalf of,
More than you
Public
think.
Works, would it be okay if the Board of Supervisors would like to change that policy and get that money back to the departments? That would still, and put it into our budget.
I have brought that up before, but I'm told it's always a budgeted number and I don't know what the budgeted number is, but.
I just
That's what I
wanted-
do with Chatham, so if you wanna come work for me.
We should probably take it up to solid waste work.
Well, I think we're all looking at the department.
All of them, all of them. No, you're right.
Especially solid waste.
Yeah, especially for all-
But this goes back to Ron Caponero's days. I used to ask for that and then he would always tell me I budget X number of dollars a year for sales like from highway.
Yeah.
And then so, if we budgeted $5,000 and you made $6,000, we had 1,000, but I'll look into that first.
So we do budget for.
But I don't know about solid waste, though. I don't believe in solid waste we do. So that's another question.
Yeah, I just think it should go, if the equipment or materials were from a particular department and
Yep.
sale takes place, that those proceeds should go back to the department's budget.
All one big bucket, right?
I understand. but when it's like-
There's a lot of.
So it's budget time.
Right, no budget then.
Look what I started.
Yeah.
It's a big impact.
Troublemaker.
I know, I didn't mean to, I thought it was a good thing.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah,
It is good, yeah.
So, we're continuing with our mowing for the roads and landfills and the airport. Ditch culvert maintenance, roadside sign maintenance, bridge repairs and maintenance, clear and brush. We had major storm damage from a couple of back-to-back significant storms, as I'm sure most of you are aware. Probably the most major one was up in Chatham area.
Yeah.
That took up a good part of our long holiday weekend. So, starting on, like that Thursday night, and that storm come through Chatham, and then again, the next day was on July 4th, was actually down in Anklamdale. And it
Yeah,
did a
saw
lot of
that
damage
too, yeah.
down there as well. So I believe we still have some stuff. Chris. Yeah, they made, the guys made pretty good progress, even in the pouring rain on, last Monday. And then the
On
Tuesday.
behalf of the committee, thank all the
They're
crew
out
for
there
us because I
cleaning it
know
up,
that
yeah.
was,
On behalf
A
of
tough
all
holiday
those towns
weekend.
up there,
Yeah.
thank you guys. I mean, you didn't just do your own county roads. I know you were helping.
Yeah, we
with
were
things
involved with
around.
emergency management. We met with,
Fantastic work.
at the firehouse up there in Chatham. They did the pump station, right, Chris?
Yep.
David
Yeah.
Harrison sang your praises last night at Public Safety.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know.
Well, then, yeah, everybody works for us, works with us when we need them, so we're happy to work with them. It goes a lot easier when everybody's on the same team.
right.
We've been painting some stop bars and replacing the, rock retaining wall at the main highway garage, because that was collapsing, been collapsing for years, actually. So they're finally replacing that. And, continuing some hot mix patch in the roads, that's kind of been on hold. That crew's been doing storm damage as well as paving, some of the culvert replacements on the roads that we're redoing. We completed culvert replacements and it says we will be starting shoulder reconstruction on county routes 21C and 21. We actually completed that today. And they will be moving to, Spook Rock Road, County Route 29, Greenport and Clover. And that shoulder reconstruction.
We'll pay the entire road.
Yeah, yeah, for both, for 21C and 21. Last year we did shoulders from 7 all the way up to 22.
Right.
This year we did, 21C and 21 up to that intersection. We're gonna be doing cold in place reclamation, from 217 all the way out to State Route 22, so that entire length, and then we'll be paving it. And then Spook Rock Road, once the shoulders are complete, we're looking probably in August timeframe for highway rehab to come in and do hot in place reclamation, and then that will be paved from end to end.
Great, because I was just there like an hour on 21 an hour ago, and those culvert crossings there,
Well,
that'll wake you up.
yeah,
Bump.
we managed to get some of them paved.
I love your speed calming measures.
Part of the problem we
I have
have
to go
is
see Supervisor Simmons for
the
some ball
same, the
joints.
same crews that are doing the blacktop are the crews that are doing the storm
Storm
cleanup.
cleanup, right?
Because the other crews are still involved in the other work, so we've got a very small group of manpower that's gotta do everything. So-
It wasn't a complaint.
Oh, no,
That's-
believe me, we,
Simmons Automotive, like,
we got quite a few complaints on those, and part of the reason is we don't pay them right away because we want them to settle.
Settle, right.
As you know, they were, as you can feel.
And just for the record, you're not widening the road.
No, we're putting new shoulders on it, and then, yeah, and if you've been out there, I don't know if you've been
Yeah.
through there, that's the extent of the widening.
Yeah.
Somebody must have heard something somewhere widening, and it got on the Facebook, and
Yeah.
we all saw
I
it.
just wanted to.
Just
for the
2
record.
lanes on the south side.
Yeah. And-
Makes it safer for the public water too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
I know,
did,
I know.
coming through, where the school is, we made sure to get, we couldn't go as wide there as we would for the rest of the shoulders, because they weren't the same. But we were able to put enough of a shoulder on there, so it's a safer walking area for,
Thank
And then
you.
they don't crumble as fast either.
Yes.
absolutely, so.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for road work and personnel. I had 2 employees that are out on workers' comp, 3 employees out on extended sick leave, 1 employee out on leave of absence, and 1 employee that has resigned. No new business and 2 resolution requests.
And do you have other vacancies in addition to those guys that are out?
Yes, we did.
How many?
Well, we just posted a senior motor equipment operator. So once that trickles down, that'll open up another motor one. I think we're 5 short on the highway side and 1 short in the garage, the senior auto mechanic in the garage.
Yeah, we're having trouble hiring Hillsdale.
Yeah,
Even though position.
yeah. We posted an MEO one last month, and I haven't gotten any official applications. I got a handwritten note the other day in an envelope. So I guess it counts. I
Right,
guess,
yeah.
but no applications for that motor one, so.
At least they want to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first one is, and if you notice, these are worded a little different, and that's because, and I sent them to Jim initially, and they had come back and asked if we could do a mini bid. We had Sourcewell contract numbers, and I don't know if he's explained any of this to anybody, but, he asked if we could do a mini bid, but at that point, it was too late if we had held up, we would have missed this meeting. And he didn't want us to miss the meeting, so what he did is they reworded these, sent them back to me signed. The mini bid went out last week. We put that together. So the pricing, the price is gonna be the price we put in there. Obviously, I had in there not to
right,
exceed.
yeah.
So if anything, anything we get back that we do choose is either gonna be that or lower, so. But just so you're aware, it might not necessarily be the Sourcewell contract. It might be up to the mini bid.
Move it. Okay.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Yeah. And the second one's the same. And those are just the mini bid specs that are in that.
2 pickup trucks.
Yeah, the first one's a crew truck, the second 2 are foreman's trucks.
Move it. Motion,
Second.
second, all in favor?
And that's all I have.
Back to, I know you talked about storm damage and all the extra work, but it reminded me too, I did hear from some of my local farmers in town that there's an awful lot of low hanging branches on some of the county roads that are whacking their trucks and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe the storm will take care of some of them, I don't know, but.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, it's just tree trimming in
Yeah,
general,
we'll keep an eye on
not like
that.
you don't have
We're
anything to
going
do,
around.
I know that, but.
yeah, they've been working on getting the roads open. We had quite a few up in the Canaan area.
Stuff's been growing like crazy, so it's just reaching out.
Yeah. And of course, after, for the days after the storms, all the trees that didn't.
When they're
fall,
wet
just
and they're
all the-
hanging, yes.
All live trees are just.
Yep.
No wind, no nothing, they just flop over and.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll be making our way around.
just wanted to mention, that's all.
Yep, absolutely.
I also had some feedback the same.
They
So,
just
and I've been
did?
telling them
Yeah.
they're out there trying to get these roads open, you know.
Yeah, there's also
Yeah,
still a lot.
exactly.
And I'm sure you all see it on the communication.
Yeah,
lines. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when we get called on those, there's nothing we can do with them. We
Right.
can't touch them, even though they're communication lines.
But I did get a representative from Fidium that was very communicative, so if anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Stacy Taylor at Fidium, she's a local regional representative, so if anybody wants her email.
Cause we have the same thing, we have a lot of lines that are out of. service.
Yeah, but if you, well, I won't. go
Yeah,
into it.
you had a mess up there.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, anything else for Tony?
Thanks,
Thank
Tony.
you.
You're welcome.
Thanks to crew again.
Absolutely.
And next we have solid waste.
I totally killed my thunder because I was gonna talk about the auction. It's the $16,095, by the way.
Hey,
Thanks.
what could you do with that money?
Closing the gap.
Right,
Initial feedback from our grant submission, looks promising. The department has earmarked, up to $584,000 for this grant. The initial paperwork was good. We're working on the second phase of document submission, and there was, a round of questioning that I'm, answering and providing more information on, but it's very promising, and thousands of pages of documents were sent up to the staff. Like, he went through them thoroughly. So, once we get moving, I think it'll be, yeah, it was very promising. Our new loader, Hank the Tank, has arrived. He is big, very well liked in the yard. We are working with Tracy Road and Hitachi on some programming issues. Not anything that's like, it's more noises that it makes. But it's pushing the material wonderfully.
good.
Everyone is really liking it.
Is Hank the Tank, Hank Hitachi?
It's a Hitachi.
Okay.
Okay.
Just double check.
Yep.
As long as it
Central,
works.
Central Services, the Finance Committee did submit our resolution request that the Board of Supervisors, you all approved in July. I just wanted to announce that on MXI was awarded. They're the vendors that we've been working with. Our office has heard a lot of complaints from residents that the event is in the fall and not the spring. So I will work with MXI to try and see if we can get it a little bit closer to springtime. Our events aren't as big as events that they do elsewhere, so we don't get top priority on dates, but we will work with them and see if I can get something closer to springtime for 27. I actually have just one part-timer out now because the other one just resigned. So that puts me at 6 down at the moment. My senior account clerk position has been filled. I have not yet filled the account clerk position. I'm gonna wait until after the testing is done. It will be a little bit easier. The newest Western Star that we had in the budget for 2024 is finally back in the yard. We finally have the hoist and tarp arm installed. They're going to register it and do all of that. We anticipate it being on the road hopefully by the end of the month. If not by the end of the month, definitely beginning of August. We did reuse the hoist and tarp arm from the truck that we auctioned off. So it is. And due to the storm damage that occurred over the July 4th weekend, our department heard an uptick of complaints about the lack of brush and yard waste collection. Just want to say as a reminder, we can only accept very small quantities because we do not have the means to chip or haul the material off-site. So if there are municipalities in the county that offer residential collection sites, we don't know that unless you tell us that. So let us know if you do collect brush, or if, I know a lot of towns don't, but if towns do, or they have a place that residents can bring it, just so that we can refer your residents to a correct number would be helpful.
Or put it on the website, you know, there's a reference to where they can.
Yeah. So, and I can't recommend
Only big
any
stuff.
commercial outfits because we had done that in the past and then we're asked not to by,
Or at least if the
The
towns
business.
do it, you can have a list.
Yeah.
Is it a burden that we should shed completely?
the brush. I would say yes, but then there would be absolutely no place to put it, and I'm not sure that would alleviate the burden of the telephone calls coming in.
Storm damage, I think, is a bigger thing. than
Storm
he-
damage,
yeah.
I mean, if we had, so listen, like if the storm damage was so bad and the county came and said, we have to do something with this, obviously we would work on it, on
Right,
that.
yeah.
If there's a FEMA issue, obviously we will work with that. It's just residential yard waste versus someone cutting down 4 or 5 trees and trying to bring them into us, you know, is that's a problem. And they cannot landfill it. Our landfill does not want.
So where do you
washing
take
yard
them,
waste.
Wendy? I mean, if people are still bringing stuff in, what do you do with it?
We're just taking a few bags of leaves.
I'm only
Yeah.
taking, we're taking very small quantities. It's very,
Okay, still a question. Is
right, so it's stockpiled right now.
It's stockpiled, so you
You'll
need a
see
place
it
to
when
where-
you're up there. So it's breaking down. You know, we're pushing it over.
Well, I just wondered,
Yeah.
I mean, ask if people bringing stuff in, I mean, especially if you get storm damage in somebody's yard, they're bringing.
But they
waste.
can't, so we're only, but
Yeah,
even now, even with the
Just grass
storm, we're
and
just taking,
Right.
it has to be in the bag. It's small quantities.
Okay.
We're not taking
I
pickup
apologize
trucks.
if that came up residential.
Totally fine. It's fine.
Take it out.
It's fine. But small quantities
Now
is
they
in yard waste bags. We're not
Yeah,
taking
4 foot
pickup
well.
trucks.
Oh,
I got another question for you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, part-time help.
Yeah.
How many hours you looking, how long do I got people asking me and I'll push them towards it.
I
They're
am
looking
not,
like 20 hours a week.
I'm not putting in positions for part-time laborers at this time because I would really like to take my part-time, the amount of part-time that I have and make it into a full-time.
Full-time position.
Then I have someone that's working Tuesday through Saturday. That would be helpful.
How close are you to accruing?
Well, I am well over that now. So it's just trying to get approval to have those positions made into a full-time position. Um,
And do you go through 0.1 to start that?
I
process?
will have to go through 0.1 to start that process.
Do you need advocates to go to 0.1?
I mean, that wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
I understand it's, the.
we were gonna
the
talk
cost
about it more
in the
through
long
the solid
run.
waste work group too, and then try and.
The best time to do it is budget time.
but,
Yeah.
Which is.
right.
Right, which is now, right. So that's my hope is that we can do that
Mhm.
and then it will be a little bit easier. Part-timers, I need laborers that,
That show.
that show up,
Mhm.
but also that can do manual labor, right?
Right.
I need them.
They're
to
too
be
old
able
to not to do that at that point. I know how that is. You can get people just can only do certain things, so.
Right, and then they need to be able to do paperwork at this point and, there's
Are they
sales
using
and,
computer or?
no, but there is sales and math and,
Right. Okay.
it's more than just, saying you can only recycle these 5 things.
Right.
But I need people that can, do all of those other things
So none of
too.
your cousins.
I had a good spot there.
So we've been busy, continuously getting more and more busy. As you may be aware, and so those are our numbers. And I don't have any resolution requests this month.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tonnage is up good though, so
Yeah.
it's good,
Yeah.
I'm really glad you continue the household hazardous waste, whatever time of the year it falls on. It's a great program, so thank you.
October 10th, Saturday, October 10th.
And then.
Yep. Oh, yeah, look at that, 10:10. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Wendy. Next, we have engineering. Whatever you want.
You notice at the top, since I missed June.
June. I didn't even notice that, right?
Oh my God. Was baseball bats around there? Starting with, Buckwheat Bridge as far as our bridges. So, New York State Department of Transportation had requested that there be a follow-up on a bat investigation. Again, there has been a concern because there are gaps, in the structure itself that provide roosting areas for bats. Initially, when an investigation was done, it was thought that perhaps there were either long-eared or Indiana bats, which are both endangered species. Our consultant had gone back and done an additional investigation and confirmed with New York State Department of Transportation that they're actually little brown bats. That's their official title. And little brown bats are very common. They are not endangered. And they are not,
They can continue to live in their box, okay?
yeah, so based on that, that allows us as the county to continue with the secret process, which is one of the, or the resolution that I had this evening. So just wanted to give everyone an update, regarding that. Stuyvesant Falls Bridge, DOT has requested the updated, purpose, need, and objective for the project, which has now been submitted. And now my understanding is that they are ready to actually distribute the area of potential effect to the consultant parties. So I hope
Told me
this,
that 2 months ago.
well, again, I don't control their schedule.
I know.
But I do hope that that means that we can continue this process and at least moving it along.
I think they're all on vacation right now, so.
Would not be surprised.
It was tall, right?
The design of the bridge repairs are 90% done, working with the consultant as far as preparing the final bid documents. So we anticipate that bid to go out in early August, and then for the work to be completed, started in the fall and completed prior to the snow flying.
I hope that can happen. I've had a lot of complaints lately on driving around and just residents saying how inconvenient that is not to have any crossing there at all.
Just think how nice it'll be once we get to a 2-lane bridge.
Wouldn't that be good? That's another story, but, yeah.
Rossman, the design or the draft design report's been completed and submitted to New York State Department of Transportation for review and comment. We are also conducting a brief study regarding the potential cultural effect on the Empire Trail. So we actually have to take, counts as far as any pedestrians or bicyclists that are crossing Rossman, and we actually have to conduct a survey of those people utilizing it for that purpose to see what effect it will be for them during construction when that structure is closed. These are all requirements of the New York State DOT and the Federal Highway Administration.
I like that trail. You can ask.
Do we ask the snowmobilers?
No.
And if you would write a comment that it feels too dangerous to use now and I want the brakes
And you
fixed, that would help,
like the fact that it's steel and you would love to have a concrete deck. that
Right,
would-
I can walk my dog across it,
County Route 7A public hearing was held on June 27th regarding the right-of-way acquisitions. And so that's in preparation for me reaching out to each one of those property owners and having meetings with them. So public meeting went well. We also met with the public as far as a general informational meeting to go over any particular concerns that they have regarding their properties and minor design changes. So that process is continuing. County Route 9 slope stabilization. So I have conducted a review of the preliminary plans. And so right now we do anticipate that those bid documents will be ready for and placed out to bid in August as well. So again, that would be a fall, winter, and spring project for that particular one. 11 Warren, contractors are addressing the minor punch list items. Fiber communication has been extended into the building, and the official move-in date for public defender probation as well as conflict defender is going to be August 3rd. We are working with MIS and facilities to be able to work on the weekend. So that would be on the 1st prior to the move-in date. So that way servers can be moved in, hooked up, communications can be up and running, because unfortunately, with the fiber, what is taking place is between 6:10 and 11 Warren, it's a hard cutoff. There is no carryover, so there's no duplication. So as soon as that fiber and communication is cut off at 6:10, they're transferring it over to 11 Warren, but there is no overlap. So it is going to be a little tricky for personnel. We've been working with MIS, so folks will have Cradle Point available. They'll have Wi-Fi available as they're making their final connections. We have asked each one of those departments, trying to keep their schedule very light as far as any in-person appointments for that week as we debug.
It's a Y2K.
All right.
And once that takes place, we
And we're still
anticipate
here.
Board of Elections would then be moved the following week. Okay? Just because taking on both or all of those departments would be a little problematic. So we've been actually having weekly meetings with the department heads just to try and to coordinate that to the best ability that we can. So things so far are looking up. Regarding the exterior, so if you recall back in May, I mentioned the fact that we had our public informational meeting. Unfortunately, we didn't get a great turnout for that, although we did get some comments.
Some spicy comments.
Very spicy, yeah. Not all of them were very helpful as far as providing guidance of what the building exterior could look at. So there was also an online survey, only 46 responders for that online survey, unfortunately, which represents less than 1%. And if you read through the comments, again, I have provided that to the entire committee. I would say less than half of them are, again, constructive. Providing guidance.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, lipstick on a pig, yeah, all the other ones.
Ohio Strip Mall.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you read through the comments that were provided by the architect, general conclusion, darker roof colors are preferred, modern lighting, modern column design, roof design elements, as far as perhaps a slope roof versus what we're currently having.
Are you reading?
They were
something
really
that's
able
over
to
now?
ameliorate the
Yeah, that's
responses.
from the report.
Yes, to the best extent. I'm sorry.
All the way at the end, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the last portion of that document. I'm sorry, Kelly.
It's trying to hustle.
There you go.
So, but really what this means is that,
That's good. Keep going.
a little bit further.
It was
think
a
it should be
calculation
the-
by the,
Way down at the end, there's some good ones.
I don't want to go through each comment.
Oh, like these?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
looks cheap.
yes.
right. You can read those someday when you're amused, but
Yeah, Jim
Thanks,
Bragg
guys.
apparently looked through them. He was,
Yeah. they tallied those a little bit for us to give us.
No, I don't have it.
Don't you think the hardest part was even just talking to people and pulling information out of them? It didn't feel as if they came to talk.
No, absolutely. It's unfortunate. I mean, the whole purpose. And again, I know, the Hudson supervisors were trying to bring people in. We wanted it to be a dialogue. That was the entire, but people didn't want to have a dialogue. It appears as though they wanted to express their opinion, which is in my opinion, is a holdover from the purchase of the building. And they have not been able to get over that, to provide constructive comments that help guide us towards what this building is going to be. That being said, I do believe that it falls back onto the county because there hasn't been much guidance. And I would like to get together as a smaller group perhaps, with just a few folks to really provide guidance to the architect. Because I don't want the architects to flounder and then come back multiple times saying, well, we really don't like this. You're still not getting it. We need to do something else. So what I would propose is if I can get together with the chairman of the committee, maybe just get a group of 4. I'm currently working with one of the supervisors.
Supervisor Madero from
Madero.
Hudson has been involved
She's
with the
certain-
architect.
Yeah, so I'd like to continue to have her involved, obviously Supervisor Knott that's been involved with these discussions with the architect, perhaps 2 other people, get together, provide guidance, let the architect create their sketch as far as what would be considered the preferred exterior. And then we can bring it to the public and bring it to the full board, so that way everyone can basically give a sign off and we can proceed with final design.
So my recommendation, and that Brenda Adams had offered to help with this, and I cornered Supervisor Sclair on the way out the door and asked him if he would like to help from the city of Hudson, and he said he'd be more than happy to help too. So I think if it was, Supervisor Madero, Adams, Sclair, and myself, we met with the architect and Ray, that we would just, but I'm happy to hear any of the, comments from you folks. I have heard from different people on different things. Keep it simple and go ahead, but yeah.
Yeah, and again, yeah, we open it up to any comments that,
Right.
in case any of the supervisors have had an opportunity of looking at it. Again, I can tell you that even speaking with the architects, if you looked at the three options, again, we are not picking 1, 2, or 3. It's to pick components of each one of those as far as ideas.
Right.
It seemed as though even from the limited number of comments that we received, we were kind of looking towards something towards that option 2 alternative, not wholesale, but we're not looking at necessarily the cheapest or the most expensive, but it is somewhere in the middle. So I think that we can come up with a good concept, but again, I would.
Was that option 2?
My personal thought.
There were a lot of complaints about the painted brick.
So yeah, and that was my personal thought. I like the roof line of option 2, but I like the brick of option 3.
Correct. Yeah, I don't necessarily like the fact of painting brick if I don't have to. I like keeping the natural color. So
Well,
again,
there are a lot of painted brick buildings in the area they bring up, but it's a maintenance.
yeah,
I know.
right across the street there are. So again, that's why I'd like to get a small group together and let's kick it around and go from there.
Those are my personal thoughts. I'm open to ideas,
And
but
I actually like the idea of having 2 supervisors from the city of Hudson
I
involved.
do too. Yeah, the more I thought about it, I looked at Rick and said, yeah, that'd be good.
So I think that would be beneficial. So as long as the committee is okay with that, then I can proceed with getting together with the architect. The architect's holding up a few dates. Again, originally we were trying to move this along a little quicker, but there's no reason to force this. I think it's an important project, obviously for the county. We want to put our best foot forward. We want to be proud of this building. So I would like to make sure that we take the effort, as we have in trying to initialize this entire process, but it really does seem as though it's falling onto our shoulders, which is fine.
And again,
Given
the
public-
process was that once we tell the architect this is what we want, they will give a more final drawing, and we will go back to the public and share that again. So, they'll be informed.
But the building in its, original intent is so incongruous with the rest of the architecture.
Right. Anything we do is better, right?
And again, at that point, we'll also have a budget as well, because right now we don't have a budget because we don't have a concept.
Right.
So.
Just get it done.
Yeah. Right. Public safety building, and Brian may touch base on this a little bit. So a recent power outage, and power issues at that particular facility has caused damage to various electrical pieces of equipment, but one of the biggest ones actually is the existing water softener system for that particular building. And so
There's no surge protection for them?
no. So again, just working with Brian, I'm putting out a proposal, or I should say an RFP and bid document, so that way we can put it out to bid. We have contacted we have discussed this with Jim Bragg, and Jim has contacted the county's insurance carrier regarding the potential of a claim for this. So we are, Brian's keeping track of any pieces of equipment and what the costs are as far as the replacement or repair. Airport meeting was held back on June 25th to review the draft environmental assessment. And that was for the T-hanger, bolt hanger, and snow removal equipment. So FAA seems to be pleased with that process as we're continuing. And we're also continuing to work with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation regarding the permitting for those projects as well. I'm also proud to announce that the county has been awarded funding on 3 projects that we were awaiting confirmation on. So a total of just over $1.1 million on 3 projects that allow us to move forward with the construction of the AWAS system. That's the automated weather observation system, the reconstruction of the parking lot, and then starting the design on the taxiway reconstruction. And again, in each one of those cases, county is responsible for the 10% match of that. We've also started, on the terminal building construction. Seems lately, I've been finishing up one construction project.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had 911, we started rolling right into 11 more. And we're
PJ
finishing up
notices
11 more.
that too, doesn't he? You know?
Yeah, it's a terminal building, yeah.
That's why we hired you.
Yeah, so we're starting that project. There's been a temporary trailer that's been installed today, as a matter of fact, and that's where the FBO will be over the next 6 to 9 months while that construction starts. So that'll, again, not only do we have to worry about staff and the public heading in and out of that building, but we also obviously have to deal with the aircraft and the safety issues as well. So that'll be a very challenging project overall, but one that's long needed. One resolution request that I have is Buckwheat Bridge seeker. So again, in light of the fact, one of those last items that we had to look for regarding seeker and making sure that DOT was satisfied, and as well as DEC, was the fact that there were no endangered species as far as the bats. So we were able to confirm that. So based on that, based on the fact that it is a replacement in kind in the same site, it can be considered a type 2 action.
All right, I have a motion and a second, I do believe. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Did the state do a cultural impact study when they put the rail trail into us?
Absolutely.
Yes, they did, and it's binders that thick.
I didn't think that they did that. Section 106?
Oh, you mean for the Empire Trail?
Yeah. I don't think they did a formal 106. I don't think they did a.
But boy, there is documents. up
There's
to
no
wazoo.
question. There's a lot of documentation regarding their designs and their
It went
environment.
so fast though that, you remember how fast they did the cul-de-sac down here at the
The roundabout?
bridge? You
Absolutely.
know, I mean,
When the state wants to get something done,
oh,
it gets done. They don't hold it up in red tape.
Go up to North Chatham and you should see what they did up there with a crosswalk.
Oh,
and
yeah.
guardrails. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I just had one other item, something that came up this week. Tony had actually shared an email with me, as well as Supervisor Dvorak, regarding a concern that a local resident had, requesting an investigation and authorization regarding county contractor withdrawing water from what the citizen is identifying as a private stream. Okay, there is no such thing as a private stream, number one. A contractor that was working for the county had gone onto a town road located up in Hillsdale as part of our project. They needed water. They then drew water out of the stream from one of our bridges into their tanker truck. Over a 3-day period, they utilized approximately 1,000 gallons. Okay. And I have a page and a half of concerns that the gentleman had identified.
Does he claim to own the stream?
No, he doesn't, but although the heading indicates that it's private, and the contractor never went onto his property. He drafted off of the bridge, which is the county-owned bridge. Beyond that, my understanding is that, again, any entity can draw water from any stream. As far as that's concerned, fire companies do it all the time. There is no water taking permit that is required, provided that that water taking is less than 100,000 gallons per day. If it is over 100,000 gallons per day, then a DEC permit is required. So I actually did reach out to Dylan at the director of our soil and water, my apologies, provided the correspondence to him, asked him to opine. He concurred, indicating that since the water withdrawal was less than 100,000 gallons per day, no DEC permit is required. Additionally, since Colarusa was using a intake on the, as far as a screen intake, that would prevent aquatic life, and therefore no further action is required. That being said, I would just like to run that past the committee and confirm with the committee that I don't need to have any exhaustive study done regarding the authorization and or investigation of this matter.
I know that we do not need a study around.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
I will provide a response to the.
Well, thank you, Ray, for investigating those. Finding the facts. That's why you didn't investigate, you found the facts. Question, Ray.
Sorry to delay the meeting. My assessor brought to our attention that down by the old landfill on the town road,
we sold that piece of land, the swamp, to the landowner, the next door neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is not on the tax rolls because he has not got the documentation that he needs to move ahead with what he said. And I just found this out today. Somehow,
When you're saying
something's lost within the shuffle that he hasn't got information.
the town assessor, when you're saying he, that you mean the town
The
assessor?
town assessor can't do anything because he hasn't bought it yet. He hasn't paid the county for that land. Because he hasn't
it
got
was up
the
to him to get the
information.
survey. and stuff.
I understand that. So I asked him, I said, well, you're supposed to get the survey. How does this all work? Is there something that we're missing? He said there was something that we were supposed to give him and he had not got any documentation. So I don't know where it is from there.
I can tell you he has not reached out to myself and I
He
do.
did talk to Rob.
Oh, he did?
I told him to call Rob and see where it is.
Okay.
So you might.
I will check with, yeah, I will check with Rob,
A
tomorrow.
long time ago, I know he was directed by Rob to do a survey and.
Yeah.
And actually the resolution that the county had passed, as
Right.
far as the full board, specifically identified that that was one of the requirements. And that was his
And he
responsibility.
had no problem with that. We just said that, but there was something that he was not, hadn't gotten anything yet. And I go,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
He says, I've been calling.
I'll reach out to Rob and.
Yeah, just
get
ask
the
Rob
status.
where it's at.
Yep.
That's why we need it back on the tax rolls, Robert, but you know, it'd be nice to get it back.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Every little bit helps. Yeah, I'll check with him.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
All right, anything else for Ray? Now we'll move on to facilities.
That bring up too about, along with highway solid waste for the auctions, our department brought in $25. So, it's not only just them.
We can okay it to you.
What price tag are you gonna put on the water softener?
We need to sell a lot more stuff. So, yeah, just routine maintenance, generators up to date, tests are up to date. Touching on what, Ray mentioned too, like with the, regarding the public safety building, we ended up losing a contactor and a board on one of the rooftop units. It was all coincidental, like everything worked fine. We got in there Monday morning and we had nothing but problems. Half the units weren't working, so I knew it was the contactor, but they're like really good sized contactors that run actual panels. Cause that's how they, allow it to shut down during a fire alarm activation. So that's how that all works. So we got to replace that. So, I mean, I'm looking at, with the pricing of everything so far, it's probably close. Depending on if that comes in, I got 2 estimates. We're looking at like 55 or something like that. Do the damage 55-60. So I don't think it was, due to like a storm damage. I think there was an accident which caused it, took out a pole. And that's what killed the power.
Like or something.
Yeah, that's what I believe happened.
Like a car accident?
I think so, yeah, on one of the lines somewhere.
So you
That's
should go after them for property damage.
Right, yeah. I know there's something happened on one of the lines and,
It's not like a power outage, but if you
Yeah,
lose
I
one
think-
leg.
yeah, exactly. It took
Could
out-
lose to neutral, I mean.
yeah, it took out my, two
Yeah.
pumps.
Yeah.
So going up the road, so.
But that should be reimbursable.
Well, it is, but we have a pretty good deductible, so that's our.
No, but
section.
I'm saying reimbursable from the person who caused the accident.
Right.
You're gonna get it from the insurance company. You're better at this than I am.
But I'm just
But
saying, because we have a $25,000 deductible, we should go after the other.
All right.
So. I'll
If we go
talk to Jim
after,
about
if we
it.
do an insurance claim, then they would go after that insurance company.
Well, you would hope. yeah.
You would hope, but. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
digress.
another problem we've encountered was that, over at DSS, the building backed up at least 4 times in the last probably couple weeks. So we believe we found the problem. Back when we did a lot of the upgrading, some of the conduits was shoved underneath one of the lines. It just brought it up just enough where it created an uphill pitch. And then we discussed for a while, we replaced all the toilets because there was problem flushing, so we went to the power flushes. Now they use less water. So I think it's a combination of the 2 things we just did. So I was able to move the conduit over and we got, so it's only a little rise. So hopefully that's going to work. But in the future, we got to put a clean out in the floor to make it easy because we're going through drains and we have to pull toilets to snake everything out. And it's
fun.
Yeah, it's not, so we found a spot, so it should work. But yeah, we've been there quite a bit and it's not nice when it's
Well,
just coming
cheers
at
to
you, like, leaking
efficiency.
down in the basement. Yeah. One of my favorite things to do. Was like,
But we're getting ready to empty out 610 for you, so, trying to find some positive.
Yeah. Let's see here. Along, with that power outage, Dave Harrison called us up from emergency management. They were having issues with the, air conditioning up at Whittier. So we brought all 4 of our, portables up. We borrowed, Wendy's, one of her generators and 2 from Highway, because we needed to run them. And like I said, we got out there, it took us about 2 hours to get a couple of them going, but they were extremely happy. So, but I think in the future, Dave's gonna have a talk with them about.
Oh, yeah. They could do it, right?
We can be the backup to they do, but their air conditioning is not on it. I don't think it's large enough, so, yeah.
We've been talking a lot over the last couple of days about how many facilities don't have these contingencies that are
Right.
housing vulnerable populations.
Yes. It's good, like, we don't mind, but, if there's several of them, how do you pick and choose who gets what? So, I mean, that turned out to be kind of like a health hazard, like, because it was getting hot out, so, we don't mind helping, but, at least now I got all the cords ready, I'm just gonna keep them, boxed up and, yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah, exactly, if
you're prepared.
if I'm, yeah, exactly, because there was a lot of running around trying to get everything, because everything was at 5 different buildings, filling up here, there, so.
Those generators, thankfully, were two of the generators that we got from the state,
Yeah.
through the state emergency management
Right.
that are on,
Yeah.
that
Grant
8
money,
hours
right,
just for a situation.
Yeah,
Right.
So it worked out good when Brian called me.
Yeah, because Tony came, yeah, because we wouldn't have been able to do it without those generators, because I only have, I'd have to make some phone calls, but.
David is arranging a after catastrophe type meeting to
Yeah,
go
Good.
over everything, so
Yeah.
that'll be coming up.
Let's see.
How we doing sometimes,
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got resolutions, right?
Yep. Let's see here. So I didn't like I know Jim mentioned to me before, after this was all in, so authorization to purchase a 2026 pickup, but we're gonna have to, he wants to put it on the mini bid, so I gotta, we have it on the source bus off but with a not to exceed of 65,000. So pick up and plow.
Okay. So you want to approve this with the same contingency?
Contingency that not to exceed
Okay,
that number.
but it'll go through a mini bid rather than Sourcewell.
And Sourcewell, correct.
You have sufficient in the equipment line.
What's that?
You have sufficient money in the equipment
Yes.
line.
Correct.
Yeah, just for future, Jim mentioned it has to be on a financial resolution.
Yeah, he said he mentioned that.
So, yeah,
I had a motion. Do we have a
yeah,
second?
we did.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
And then I have a personnel request, authorization to fill one, senior building maintenance worker position, due to retirement.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
I believe that's it.
While Brian's here though, and I didn't get to share this with Ray, but, I was presented here just with the resolution earlier from resident Lloyd over here, who's asking, us to consider a resolution to put a flag at the parking lot of, 560 Warren Street, or, North Street. Well, Lloyd, I would like to table this for the moment until I can speak to, Ray. I think that any flag needs to be lit on a public building, things like that. So I don't know if all these arrangements can be made. I don't know if we already have a flag on the property, but, I certainly respect your wishes to have an American flag displayed. I'm grateful for that. But I would like to just look at the legalities of this before we take any action on it.
Yeah, there has been when I put it up and someone had mentioned someone to Brian and then Brian asked me to take it down.
Okay. But it was just something that you put there. It wasn't a county installed flag. So yeah, let me talk to Ray and Rob on it and see, what the,
Thank you.
legal action of it.
Is it 560 parking lot?
This is where they have the farmer's market, right?
That's where they're trying to do everything anyway, so that may
Yeah.
include a flagpole.
Yeah, did we ever answer them, Ray, on that either? I was gonna say that.
But they were coming back.
I thought we were gonna give them a response of what we would go along with. Maybe we did. I don't know if we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About them coming back.
Yeah,
I don't think they're coming back, THDC.
no,
No, no.
we haven't heard from them in a while, so I don't know, but
So I haven't heard anything regarding that project.
I know they were in a hurry to make some funding application in April and then they missed that, so it's, you know. But no, thank you, Lloyd, for bringing that to us. We'll consider it. That's all I'll say at this point.
Do you want to have a motion to table it?
Could I have a motion to just table that resolution if it was proposed? Motion a second, all in favor? All right, any other questions for Brian? Ray or anybody else? Any other public?
Me.
Good work, highway.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second,
Anybody have a second? Sure. Thank you.
all in favor? Aye, thank you.